It's Friday. I guess it's the third Friday in April. And I am Rosalie. Easter has come and gone. It was quite different this year. Did you do anything creative? Yeah, it was quite different. Didn't make plans to have a big Easter dinner because family could not come. But we got through it anyway. So how was yours? Are you still treating this time as a staycation, a vacation, that you're doing something to entertain yourself, your family? I know those of you who have kids and grandkids in the house have to make sure that they are entertained and that they are maintaining their education. That reminds me of years ago, a teacher told me that over the summer months, kids would lose a certain percentage of what they had learned from September to June. And when they came back in September, you had to kind of do a recap to bring them up to par. So when my kids were little, during the summer, we had what I call backyard school. My ex-husband built a picnic table. We went out in the backyard. We actually had an hour of school in the morning. My son still talks about what parent makes their child in the summertime look up something in an encyclopedia and give a report on it. So they remembered. I don't know if it helped them when they went back to school, but that's one of the things I did many, many years ago. But I knew that if I had grandchildren or children today, that would be a priority. We would have breakfast, and then we would have to have an hour at least, if not more, of school, because now you have to be, the teachers are providing work over the internet, so they have to have quiet time and they have to have study time. And quiet time was something we had after dinner because kids had to do the homework. And if you didn't have homework, you had to have that hour of quiet time, and it didn't matter if you didn't read anything but the comic paper, the comics from the paper. You had to do something educational within that hour. And at one time, my son had a friend who was not doing well in school, and he came home and he said, "Mom, so-and-so needs some quiet time. They need to bring their grades up." So, those are a couple things you can do for kids that are in your house to make sure they stay up with their education. I know that social isolation and staying 6 feet apart seems very strange. I went to a market, and now the markets have, and a number of stores, have the spaces already taped off and you're supposed to stay behind your line. So, that's strange to go to a market, to CVS, or to a drugstore. Any of the stores that I've been in, it was strange, but I'm healthy, and I hope that all of you are healthy, wearing your mask, washing your hands, and doing what it takes to stay in good health. Other than those things that I have suggested, you've asked yourself the question, what can you do to best utilize your time? Well, I'm retired, so I don't have that separation from work where I had very structured time during the day. And I attempted to give myself a structured day on the 27th when I talked about redefining your daily routine. Well, for me, that didn't work out so well because and that we were supposed to start. We were doing that 15-day change from the 28th of March to the 11th of April. And at that time, I shared my plan, but it didn't work for me too much. I don't think I've gotten up at 6:30 one day during that time period. I may have awakened at 6:30, but I just couldn't bring myself to get out of bed. So I have to do a reevaluation and say, I'm up between 7 and 7:30. I'll make that work. And for me, I had a list of things that I was going to do. Like yesterday morning when I got up, I got up about 7:30. So that put me an hour late. So some people started calling me before I ended my meditation time. So I had to let people know, my days really don't start at 6:30. I'm not going to change my routine to that, but I do have to put some structure. I made a commitment to a group who was part of my plan, but I made them to the group, my book study / Bible study group that has a meeting on Tuesday mornings, and I have been introduced to the technology of the platform of Zoom, and that's, I find, very wonderful. Made a commitment to exercise every day. So the first day I did not walk, but the second day, a couple of days I've been walking. And instead of walking in the morning, I walk in the evening, probably before about 6:30. So that works. And going outside at 6:30 in the afternoon, this time of year, all the cars are on the parking lot. No kids are outside. It's just still. It's very strange for me. And that's the time of day you see some activity and people are buzzing. Everybody's in, doors are closed. So people are, I believe, trying to stay healthy. So did you come up with a plan for your day? And how did that work for you? What else can I say about my time? It gave me a guideline as to how much time that I spend doing very little. I did not write. I guess I took out my manuscripts and put them on the desk, but I didn't reread any of it or attempt to rework any of it. Thought about some things that I needed to add, because over this time I had a surprise call from a sister-in-law whose name I didn't remember. That's how long I have been out of touch with her. I guess I've never really been in touch with her. I met her many, many years ago at someone's house because I had to ask her, had we ever met? And she reminded me of when and where that was. My brother died several years ago, but she and he had divorced before he died. I just have not been in touch with her or her two children, and she had not been in touch with me. So we had a very pleasant conversation, and it was nice to reconnect. So that was one thing that happened for me, and I have decided that I will reach out to some other people. I understand that sending cards and notes has been helpful to some people who have received them, just like I received that phone call that was quite a surprise. So I suggest that you continue to think and use your creativity and continue to redefine your daily routine. I know for many years ago when I was laid off for 23 months, I guess that time I started getting up and going out walking between 6:30 and 7 because I did not want to get in the habit of sleeping late because I knew that I was going back to work, and I wanted to keep myself in the routine of getting up early and getting out of the house. So that time I had a motivation to get up and get out between 6:30 and 7. And when I went back to work, oddly enough, I had to be to work at 7:30. So getting up and getting out of the house was not a problem. That I just shifted what I did. Instead of getting up and going out to work, I got up and got dressed and went out to work. So if you're one of those people, if you're someone who's listening to me and know that you have to go back to work, you're not retired, you're not out permanently, I strongly suggest that you continue to get in the habit of being active at the time of day that you would normally go out to work, because that will be quite beneficial, I do believe, when you go back to work. So, with all of that, I'm going to say, drink plenty of water, because you don't want to get dehydrated under any circumstances. Maintain your spiritual connection with whomever whatever higher power or divine connection you can. I believe it is important to maintain a relationship with this creator and sustainer of life. Whatever name, whether it's God, Allah, or whomever you choose, whatever name you choose to give that divine being, that source, or whether you're going to be just like a Star Wars fan and believe in the dark side and believe in the Force. And yes, may the Force be with you. I'm a Star Wars fan. So I'm going to say, take care of yourself, be kind to others, stay safe and stay healthy. Until next time.